Disclaimer: I have been possessed for 5 years, and I am close to losing my soul. I made this channel in hopes of passing the intelligence down that only the possessed come into contact with to help those who might end up in the same position save their souls. I have been part of an ongoing battle, and am the true second Messiah, with the demons trying to make me the next Antichrist. Possession is misunderstood in the modern world. Before the video begins, if you think you are possessed or genuinely are, I recommend you to start this series from the beginning and watch each video. If you are possessed, this should be a constant study. Good luck. If you are possessed, you don't want any demons, like me if I had lost my soul finding out where you lived. So make a randomized YouTube account with a randomized name and username, and comment then if you want any help. I'm going to change this YouTube channel password, it's a random email, and I would look from time to time on an alternate account only. If you think that you should ignore this advice, just note that all it takes is something like this, and a few extra things to find out exactly where you live, so do not ignore it, please. Starting off the series with what is a possession. Many of you watching this may have had some weird occurrences happen. Nightmares, dreams, sleep paralysis, thinking that you are hearing things. This is not a real possession. A real possession is often thought of as a bodily possession, and that is also wrong. A real possession starts off in the mind, as mental torment. The goal is to eventually penetrate into the subtle nervous system, which can take years. For me it took 2 years. This is done by them ritualizing with mental torment in the mind. The goal is to entrap the soul. When they penetrate the subtle nervous system, the goal is to gradually make it worse and worse and worse until you are eventually paralyzed, and they torture you. This torture is ultimately the loss of the soul. I have seen all of the exorcism videos on the internet, and without a doubt, more or less, all of them are bullshit. It's not the case that this demon can bodily possess you without paralyzing you first. They would have to torment you in your mind and penetrate your subtle nervous system. It's not real. However, there is a type of trance that I have never experienced that I know can happen, which I have seen in visions, and I do not know what it takes to have these trances. However, I do say that the convulsive, almost epileptic response to a lot of those exorcisms are unlike the demons. They do not actually care if you are saying anything about Jesus Christ. They get angry and things like this only. Okay, so if you think you are possessed, know this. If you are possessed, you know it. You could close your eyes and see big black beady eyes. You could close your eyes and see demons getting angry sometimes. Before the symptoms start, you would have been tormented more or less all day. They would have laced you with dreams, they would have made up scenarios in your head, they will act like people in your head. That's how you know you're genuinely possessed. And that's the beginning of it. And that's it. A lot of people may wonder, how do you differentiate from general psychosis and schizophrenia? Well, I have not got general psychosis and schizophrenia, but the intermediary state between when you have your first break with psychosis is rather short, whereas possessions can continue for years. There is a misunderstanding of the nature of the universe in science. Of course, it is not just science that you need to know, but it's the nature of the soul. Psychoanalytics in the modern day with Carl Jung is progressing in this area with the collective unconscious. We have already a large amount of people on Earth experiencing astral projections. They go to the other side and they leave their body, it seems, into a realm of almost unconsciousness. This is a mind plane. There is all types of different mind instances going on inside of your mind, and when you sleep, you are one with the infinite sea, and you can leave your body into this astral realm. This astral realm is very relevant when you are possessed to some degree, because they're trying to almost entrap your soul with psychic content, and there is a variable degree of inner instances that are used and things like this. Moving forwards, you eventually get the physical symptoms. You know it's a real possession even before then, but if you are lucky enough to watch this video and have not got these physical symptoms, in my opinion, you are more or less guaranteed to save your soul. It's sort of difficult to explain to mortals that a possession isn't psychosis, because if you go to the Catholic Church nowadays with a real possession, they will turn you away because you're not possessed. But if you go with a false possession, they will do an exorcism. This is how the Catholic Church works in the modern day, because they don't understand how a real possession actually works. It starts off as torment, and then it goes to the penetration of the subtle nervous system. Psychosis. They almost dwell in the waters of the mystic. They think that they see things that are sending meanings to them, because the synchronicious state of psychosis is being taken into a place that mortal humans would not see it like, more or less. This is why the dreams of psychosis patients often had collective symbols. This is what Carl Jung discovered, because they are penetrating to some degree into the collective unconscious. So, when you are immortal, you are lucid, but you don't think like the psychosis people, and the psychosis people might not be necessarily lucid, but you are one with extra powers and things like this. For example, I'm lucid whilst awake, but it's not a thing, psychosis, that is really understood by science. They take that it's the mind and they consider that this means that it's unreasonable to say that it has any meaning on their reality changing. I change the question here. Their reality does change to some degree, but it's not a possession, and that's it. In the state of psychosis patients, when you read upon their stories, they will have a lot of things happen that you don't have happen when you're possessed. When you're possessed, you see that it's an intelligent being that doesn't change, but he likes to make almost weird faces and things at least. And he torments you in a logical way. And you see that he's probably a lot smarter than human beings. You see that he's able to almost logically send you certain types of information and things like this. But it's an almost hard to explain phenomena that I will go on in depth in more other videos than this. So, if you are possessed, you're going to know it. Unfortunately, a lot of people that have psychosis will think they're possessed, but the case is the truth that you cannot say that the people who are possessed have psychosis when it's not the same thing. These demons exist in a collective, okay? Usually when people get possessed, there is some type of mind content that connects them to the demon, and it can cause the demon. For me personally, the demon asked to enter my dream when I was asleep, and I said yes, and since that day I was tormented by them, okay? So pretty much, it's just the fact that your mind. Okay, let me say here, right? In Hinduism, they have samsara, where they try and attain moksha, immortality. It is a known trick by me, as I'm the only immortal on the planet, that there is an element of the astral where you get tagged by psychic content. Okay? So the goal of the demons is to tag people's astral. So if you are a magician and you have seen a demon in your mind's eye for a second or two, you're tagged by a demon. The reason is because if you unlock the all-pervading spirit, if you unlock the all-pervading sea, the demon will try to possess you. And that is to bring you towards the collective of, instead of being a good god, being a demon. Okay? I have had the same with the Blue Devas. I was tagged with a blue pyramid and heard sound, sensory-wise. And I also have a Blue Deva here with me. I can close my eyes and see the blue eyelid. It's worth noting, okay, because of the connection between you and collective archetypes here, and then you are becoming a collective and the demon tries to possess you. But there is a lot of ways that the demons possess people. This is one of them, and it seems like it's the goal of the demons, long term at least, to entrap mankind with overpopulation, because they get to make mankind distracted and overpopulated and not have the sustenance of spirit and mind that they need, because they could get all of those people tagged, and then eventually when mankind hits a level of exposure enough to unlock the infinite sea, there could be mass possession. This seems to be the goal of the demons. I'm not sure if they would have ever been successful, but mankind is completely spiritually illiterate, so I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, I have pretty much the ultimatum then, that there is a quote that a lot of magicians like to make. It's all in your head, but you don't know how big your head is. This is a dream. So if this is a dream, you cannot take a psychic illness and call it psychosis, because it's a spiritual illness, is psychosis too. And it's a spiritual illness here also. Psychosis is not understood by science, in my opinion. It's the development of the young minds being sort of abused into it. But they're hopefully safe on the other side. But it's a problem, okay, in the modern world that they'll eventually fix, and they'll look back on and they'll mock those idiots, and that's it. So possession is something that starts off in the mind as torment, then it penetrates the subtle nervous system. I can't leave the house very well, to be honest with you. I'm unable to work and things like this because of the possession, if that makes sense, how bad the physical symptoms are. I have had them for 3 years, okay? So it's not physical, it just starts off in the mind, and that's it. Pretty much. So I hope this explains whether or not you are possessed and the true nature of possession. Let's move on to the next episode.